A very big task to complete today. That is all 19 chapters from SST. So my dear students, welcome on the platform. Diksha Vedantu. This is your SST faculty Tanvi Pahuja. So we know that there are total 19 chapters from SST. Okay, a huge syllabus we have to complete before 7th of March because your exam is on 7th of March and we do not have much time, but we are going to do that. So we are going to start with all the chapters one by one, in which I am going to tell you the most important topics as well as the description, explanation to those topics. Okay, tighten your seat belt because it is going to be very important video for all of you. We are going to start it with the very first chapter. My God, very first chapter, that is Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Whenever I teach you, pay your attention over here. You can also use a pen, a pencil and a paper to write down all the important things particularly here, because that can be used for revision. Okay, so when we start with the chapter that is Rise of Nationalism in Europe, if you remember, there is a picture in the starting. Okay, there is a picture in the starting which was drawn by a French artist. Okay, that is drawn by a French artist in the year 1848, that is Frederick Soriot. Okay, according to Frederick Soriot, the title of the vision of that painting was Democratic, Social and Republic Nations. Okay, what happens if we talk about Europe? If we see Europe, there was monarchical system, absolutism going on, absolute institutions were ruling there. Right? That means all the powers were centralized in their hand without any rights to the citizens of choosing their leaders or living in the country. First of all, country doesn't exist at that time. There were empires, there were regions, etc. So this person, Frederick Soriot, saw an utopian vision that there will be nations who are going to be democratic, social and republic, and this is how the feeling of nationalism was growing in Europe. You know that everything spread gradually, and that feeling of nationalism was also spreading naturally. If you remember in class 9th, you studied a revolution in France that is popularly known as French Revolution. We studied the causes, the impact, the result of the revolution in the last class. Now this year, what to study? In this year, you have to study that how in French Revolution, how because of French Revolution there was growth of nationalism within the people, among the people. So we know that, I'll quickly revise all the important points, that this is a 5-marker question which can come in your exam. Okay, how did the feeling of nationalism grown among the people of France because of French Revolution or during French Revolution? First point. Okay, la patrie, les citoyens, the fatherland, citizen, build the feeling of what? Unity among the people. Remember, the tricolor flag was replaced by French flag. Sorry, the royal standard flag was replaced by the tricolor flag. Okay, a state general, a body, was replaced by National Assembly, a body of active citizens elected. Okay, elected body of the active citizens. Now then we move further, we see that hymns were composed, martyrs were commemorated. Okay, oath was taken to build the feeling of unity. There were common laws made, common currency was there, a centralized administrative system was put place. Okay, common weight and measures were introduced. French was promoted, and there was what we can say that they were discouraging the regional languages. Okay, so the chapter starts from here. The picture is such like that there was absolutism or absolute institutions in Europe which was replaced by or tried to be replaced by various revolutions, and one among them is French Revolution. But what happened? One more ideology came into picture, that is liberal ideology. Okay, liberalism, liberal ideology. And here comes in picture the Napoleon. Napoleon fought various wars with the conservative people and finally became the Emperor of France. Okay, you know, when he came in the picture, he bought what? He bought his Civil Code of 1804. Napoleonic Code, popularly known as Civil Code of 1804, did away all the privileges on the basis of birth. Everyone will be equal, equality before law. right? Right to property will be given. There will be common currency and weights and measures, right? The trade guild restrictions will be removed. There will be abolishment of feudal privileges. Serfdom will be abolished. So all the people will be, the serf will be free from the manorial dues. These were the provisions of Napoleonic Code. However, Napoleon was welcomed by the people in the starting, but later on, people understood that yes, he is giving the equality, but only social and economic. What about political equality? Did we choose Napoleon as a ruler? No. He is what? He is a dictator. So he didn't establish democracy. We never say that. So now comes in picture again the conservatives. Conservatives said that, oh my God, this Napoleon is going to kill us. Right? So what should we do? We should kill this Napoleon, Chacha. How? How? Let's make a group together. Whenever there is someone powerful, what we do? We make a group together. So all the conservatives came together, defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo, and then the Treaty of Vienna was signed 1815. What was the objective of the treaty? So the objective was the treaty was to establish the monarchical order or the conservative order, defeating Napoleon or taking all the territories from Napoleon back. Okay, they made France a country surrounded by so many conservative countries so that again Napoleonic power cannot be re-established. Getting my point? So this was done where? In Treaty of Vienna. But let me tell you, yes, Napoleon was a liberal leader, and what do I mean by liberal? Liberal words mean freedom. It comes from a Latin word, liber, which means freedom. Which type of freedom is talked about in the chapter? Social, economic and political. Pay attention, repeat after me. It's social, political and economic. What do they demand in social equality? What do they demand in social liberty? Equality among the citizens, isn't it? They want what? Abolition of feudal privileges, okay? Abolition of serfdom. Everyone should be equal. Okay, next we talk about political freedom. They want that the government should be chosen by the people. There should be a representative parliament. Getting my point? And then when we talk about economic freedom, there should be freedom of trade. There should be freedom of the movement of goods and capital. Okay, so here comes one more thing, that is custom union. That is custom union that was made in 1834, popularly known as Zollverein. What has custom union got? So when economic liberalism came in the market, people understood that by we have to unify our economic territory. We have to unify it. So the German Confederacy, the 39 states of German Confederacy came together and demanded that in this custom union that we will unify our nation economically. There are multiple currencies in each state. Okay, now it is a hindrance for the movement of goods and capital. There are multiple, along with the currencies, there are multiple weights and order. Every time we have to weight the good, measure the product, right? That is a problem. So currency was reduced from 30 to 2. Right? A common weight and measure was established, transport and communication was improved, etc. was done to economically unify a nation, and somewhere a word unification is going to come. Right? Unification is coming economically, and this is how we will see that from economic to politics, how Germany was unified. This was a first brick of the house. Okay, get it? Very good. So French Revolution nation done, Napoleonic Code done, liberal nationalism, Treaty of Vienna. Now comes the point. My dear students, now pay attention. There was a time in France. I am telling you a timeline that you need to remember. There was a time when there was absolutism, and here by absolutism I mean there was monarchical rule in France. If you remember the monarchical rule in France, in class 9th you studied about Louis XVI and all, right? Here particularly I am not talking about only France, I am talking about Europe altogether. So absolutism was there. Then we have seen that pressure was created, people were demanding, and somewhere liberal ideology came into picture. Okay, and in this liberal ideology, Napoleon is also the part of that particular picture. Was conservative in enjoying this? No. Again came the conservatives, okay? And this time they are known as second conservatives, okay? Because first one are they. Now these conservatives are putting so much pressure on the people, giving no rights, etc., etc. So when the pressure cooker gets so much pressure, will it whistle out? Yes. Who are going to whistle out? That were revolutionaries. That were revolutionary. Giuseppe Mazzini, Italian Unification, born in Genoa, formed young Europe, young Italy. By Duke Metternich, it was said that he is the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Get it? Get it, everyone? Very good. In the age of revolution, now the age of revolution started. We saw that the first revolution started in France in 1830, in the month of July. What happened? Conservatives again came into picture in the Treaty of Vienna. Okay, in the Treaty of Vienna, France was given again to or back to Bourbon dynasty. Okay, Bourbon dynasty, that means again monarchy, right? So in France, people of France revolted and demanded for constitutional monarchy. And demanded for what, my bachas? Constitutional monarchy under Louis Philippe. Okay, under Louis Philippe. Now what happened? Duke Metternich said, when France sneezes, the rest of Europe catches cold. What happened? After France, the same revolution, type of revolution was seen in Belgium. This July revolution sparkled, right? Belgium got separated from the United Kingdoms of Netherlands, and then we have seen the same one in Greece, which was a part of the Ottoman Empire since long years. Since long years, I'm unable to do so much masti today because I want you to focus on the board. 19 chapters is a task. Okay, so now what happened? Greece was the part of Ottoman Empire, taking the side of the culture. People said that, oh my God, this is the cradle of civilization and this should be independent. By the Treaty of Constantinople, what happened, students? By the Treaty of Constantinople, Greece became an independent nation coming out of the Ottoman Empire. Okay, sure, very good, very good. We completed what? We completed all of this thing. Now here you have seen one factor in what? In the independence of Greece, that was culture, and that is referred as what? Romantic imagination. Yes, my dear student, culture played a very, very important role in rising of the nationalist sentiments, folklores, folk dance, folk songs. Whenever we hear Jan Gan Man, whenever we see the folk dance on Independence Day, Republic Day, we have a different feeling of nationalism within, isn't it? Yes, we have. So, yes, role of culture, Johann got, and now what you have to write, I am not going to in so much depth, I'm going to tell you what are the important points. Role of culture, first you will tell that romantic imagination does not believe in science, reason, rationality, rather it believes in mystic feeling, intuitions, etc. Okay, in which the bases are what? Folklores, folk songs, folk dances, etc. Example, first, Johann Gottfried Herder, Germany, who said that the feeling of nationalism can be grown by the common people. Okay, das Volk, the common people. Then comes the Karol Kierpinski. Okay, Karol Kierpinski took the basis of folk dance, mazurka, folk songs, okay, carol singing, etc. to raise the feeling of nationalism among the Poland people. Why the Polish people? Because Polish people were occupied by Russians, okay. Russia occupied the Poland and there they were not even allowed to speak their own language. Okay, Polish was banned over there, Russian was imposed forcefully, etc. So how language and culture played an important role? This is what you are going to answer in your exam. I'm pretty sure you will answer very nicely. Okay, now coming to Frankfurt Parliament 1848, very crazy incident happened in Germany. So all those German people, the middle class German people who wanted liberty, came together and demanded for constitutional monarchy. What is the objective of Frankfurt Parliament? My dear students, the objective is to form a constitutional monarchy in all these united German nations. Now what happened? They started a possession reached to St. Paul. There were 831 members in the month of May 1848. 18th of May 1848, all those people came together. They will draft a constitution and make the German nation with constitutional monarchy. Everything was going great. Now they went to Prussian people, the Prussian leader Frederick Wilhelm IV. They asked that middle class people, that group of citizens, right? They asked that leader that will you become the constitutional monarch? He said that, am I mad or what? Why would I surrender myself when I am going to be questioned by the constitution? Not at all. I want absolute power. The Frederick Wilhelm IV denied the offer, and this is the first failure of Frankfurt Parliament. Second one, this group was made by middle class people. Hence, the demands of the peasants and workers were not entertained. Third one is very important, women. My God, women being the part of the revolution throughout the time. But what happened when they demanded? What happened when the time comes when their rights should be entertained? They were treated merely as observers standing in the visitors gallery in the Frankfurt Parliament. So this failed. Again, will they make the koshish? Yes, they will do. That's making of Germany and Italy. If you guys remember, these are the most important topics, crux of this chapter. That's making of Germany and what? Italy. We know that when we will study Germany, there is a person, Otto von Bismarck. Okay, Otto von Bismarck, who fought war. Okay. 3 wars for how many years, students? For 7 years, resulted in Prussian victory. That included France, okay, oh my God, how did I forget? Austria, and 3 wars. Otto von Bismarck, 3 wars, 7 years. France, Austria, and okay, and Denmark. Okay, so by this Prussian initiative, Otto von Bismarck fought this war. Finally, in 1871, Germany became a united nation. Germany became what? United nation, with Kaiser William I as the monarch, constitutional monarch, we can say now. Okay, so this was about Germany. Now comes to Italy. We know that Italy was politically fragmented into 7 states. Okay, it was politically fragmented, if you know that. So in north there was a region, Sardinia, Piedmont, ruled by the what? Princely state, ruled by the princely state, Italian princely house. Then we have Austria, okay, then we have Lombardy and Venetia, that was taken over by Austrian people. In the center there was Pope, backed up by France, we can say. South it was Sicily, ruled by the what? Bourbon dynasty of Spain. So this is how the Italy was politically fragmented. The role of Giuseppe Mazzini is there. Mazzini played an important role because he was the person who put the idea of coherent program of making united Italian nation, right? Then comes in the picture Cavour, because the responsibility directly fell to Victor Emmanuel II, the then only Italian ruler of the state. Okay, Cavour was mastermind, diplomatic person, not a what we can say democrat, not a dictator. He was he was a smart person. Okay, then comes in picture Garibaldi, and because of these 3 people in 1861, what? Italy become a unified nation with Victor Emmanuel II as the first monarch of unified Italy. Okay, then comes the case of Britain. Okay, students, this is very, very important. We are moving to the last of the chapter. Coming towards the case of Britain, my God, Britain, a very, very important case. So there were certain British isles. Isle, that means islands, okay, which included the territory where people speaks the language English, the territory where people speaks the language Irish, then there was Scot, and there were Welsh. Now what happened? Pay attention. This English people gained power. Now when they gained power, they attacked first Scotland. In 1707, an Act of Union was signed by the people who speaks the language Scot and that region, Scottish. The region is known as Scotland. Act of Union was signed between the two, where everything like English dominance was established and the Scottish peoples were not allowed even to speak their language. Then we have Irish people. What happened? 1801, they were forcefully incorporated in England. Okay, so what happened? The English people highlighted their language. The national anthem was imposed to build a feeling of nationalism. God save our noble king. Okay, and the Union Jack, the national flag, was imposed on all the people. Okay, get it? Very good. Balkan crisis, we know that. So, what happens? Pay attention here. Balkan crisis. Now, who are Balkan? What is Balkan? Balkan is an area in Europe. Okay, it is an area in Europe in which in today's world contains so many countries like Slovakia, Greece, Herzegovina, okay, many countries like that. The people here who lives are referred as Slavs. They are referred as what, my dear students? Slavs. Now what happened? Balkan region for a very long time was ruled by Ottoman Empire. It was ruled by Ottoman Empire, and Ottoman Empire is an absolute institution. Now what happened, as there was a spread of nationalism in the Western Europe, finally the nationalism reached in this Balkan part of Europe, and every territory contains people of different ethnic variations. There were people who have belongs to different ethnic groups. Now what happened? They want a defined territory for them. Defined territory. Whenever there is about land, even brothers are fighting. It's about the nation. So when a region, this and this is all together, they are claiming, oh my God, this is part of my territory. This is claiming, this is part of my territory. Right now also going near Jerusalem and all that area, you are aware about that. Okay, in that what happens when two brothers are fighting in a family, other people enjoy that process. Oh my God, let's take the benefit of it. Let's take the benefit. Let's also demand and claim that this is my property. So what happened? Russia, Britain, all the big countries, well-established countries during this time, Germany, Italy, came to help them. Not help them, came to establish a long-term impact on the world, claiming that they were like rivals of each other, the big powers. So big powers came in that led to various wars, finally leading to First World War. Get it? So this was the complete chapter, Rise of Nationalism in Europe. I know that you're not going to forget it. And now we will come in the picture, nationalism in India. You know, First World War happened in the world. Okay, there were two powers, allied powers and central powers. Who were allied powers? Britain, Russia, France. Okay, then we come with what? Central powers. There was Germany. Okay, there was Italy, Turkey. Okay, getting my point? Now we are going to change the chapter in the context of India. Britain was the part of allied power, and that Britain was ruling India. Do you remember? Yes. So that Britain was ruling India, and this First World War created a social and economic impact. Created a social and economic impact on India. How, my dear students? Because when war is fought, money is spent. Because of money is spent, defense expenditure. See, I am just writing the important points. The defense expenditure was increased, which the Britain took from the pockets of Indians. Okay, how? New tax was introduced, that was income tax. Okay, other taxes were increased. Custom duties which are applied in the trade were also increased. Get it? Social and economic impact. Defense expenditure increased. Fine, we are aware about this. Now what happened? Forced recruitment was done. Forced recruitment was done, that villagers were asked to forcefully be the part of the British army fighting in First World War, leading us with so much problems. During this time, the prices were increased, right? The prices were doubled between the time of 1913 to 1980, and that was a disaster for the people of India. Then if we talk about more points, defense expenditure, forced recruitment, prices, there was famines. Why? Because there was drought somewhere, right? Other than that, there was influenza epidemic. All this led to what? All this led to death of millions of people. 12 to 13 million people perished in the Indian population during the time of First World War. That clearly indicates us the work of what the British government was doing for India. Get it? Very good, bacha. So this is how the chapter starts. The chapter name is Nationalism in India, the second and the most important chapter of history. Achha, do you remember that 2-mark map work is also going to come from the same chapter? Okay. Now what happened? Basically this is a chapter that is a part of freedom struggle, but a part of it. We studied something in it. Now we are studying something proceeding to what we studied in it, right? Now comes in picture Gandhiji. Who comes in picture? Gandhiji. When did Gandhiji reach India? January 1815. Pay attention to the dates. January 1815. He took the rest and then participated in certain early satyagraha. You know what is satyagraha? Truth and non-violence. What is satyagraha? Truth and non-violence. So certain early satyagraha includes the satyagraha in Champaran. Where is Champaran, my dear students? Right now tell me in the comment section. Then we know about Kheda, okay, and then we know about Ahmedabad, okay, 1917, 1918, 1918. What happened in Champaran? Why was the satyagraha organized? Because there were forceful indigo plantation. The workers asked for help to Gandhiji and satyagraha was organized, okay. Kheda satyagraha in Gujarat, drought happened. The Britishers were not reducing the revenue, so satyagraha happened. What happened in Ahmedabad? Mill workers demanded for the rise in wages, okay, because plague epidemic also affected the economic during that time, and this is the reason satyagraha was organized by Gandhi ji. Get it, everyone? Very good. Now, moving to the most important topic of this chapter, that is Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act. I'll tell you the background of this. Bacha, what happens now? Like we started Swadeshi movement in the year 1903 before coming of Gandhiji for obvious. I just told you he came back in India in 1915. So Swadeshi movement was organized and we know that became a failure. Now after what happened? The Indian National Congress split. There was no movement going on, nothing in India. So during that time, revolutionary activities were increasing in India. Britishers were afraid up from them. So to reduce that, in the year 1919, Britishers passed an act. Do you know this is known as the Black Act? Why? Because according to this act, they gave government the rights. Pay attention. They gave government the right to arrest the political activist. Okay, the political activist for how many years? Pay attention. For 2 years without any trial. Without any trial. Bhai, this is a problematic act. Right? What happened? People were not happy with this act. And here again comes in picture Gandhiji. Gandhiji was waiting for an all India satyagraha and this issue helped him out. So Gandhiji decided that on 6th of April, okay, on 6th of April, on 6th of April, he will be starting in the year 1919 a satyagraha. Okay, and it was started. When it was started, so much of violence was seen in the country at that time. People were so much infuriated and the government was responding with so much violence in the nation, in which two political leaders from Amritsar were arrested, Dr. Satyapal, Saifuddin Kichlu, due to which violence increased in Punjab and martial law was imposed on the date, 10th of April. Martial law was imposed, but what happened on 13th of April? There was a celebration, Baisakhi. Okay, in this Baisakhi, an annual fair was organized in Jallianwala Bagh. Okay, in this Jallianwala Bagh, what happened? People gathered to celebrate Baisakhi. Somewhere, General Dyer came saying that you guys are doing a political organization, political meeting here, and started open firing to the innocent people. The Black Act done by the British person in India. We took the revenge, but we cannot remove the, what we can say, the harsh reality of that day. So incident is known as Jallianwala Bagh incident. You are well aware about what happened on 13th of April. Whole nation was stunned. Leaders gave up their titles. Okay, and however, that Rowlatt Satyagraha was not taken front, it was withdrawn at that day. Get it? So, event that started, before starting it ended. Now next, what happened? There were so many events collected. One more additional event was there, that was Khilafat issue. Okay, now what is Khilafat issue? Two leaders fighting among each other in First World War, Central Powers and the Allied Powers. Who? Central Powers and the Allied Powers. Who won the First World War, my dear students? Allied Powers, for obvious. In the Central Power, there was a nation, Turkey, okay, and the religious head of this Ottoman Empire, because this was the part of Ottoman Empire, the religious head of this Ottoman Empire was Khalifa, from whom all the territorial powers were taken, and the Muslim community was not at all happy by this. Ali brothers, Muhammad Ali, Shaukat Ali made a what? Organization, right? Committee, Khilafat Committee, and asked Gandhiji to help. Gandhiji thought that again this can be taken as a basis for all India movement, so that all the communities can come together and fight against the Britishers, and hence we started the new movement, that is non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement. Get it, my dear students? In the month of September 1920, at the Indian National Congress session, a proposal for non-cooperation movement was presented by Gandhiji in front of the members of Indian National Congress. Okay, what was the proposal? The first point was that we will be boycotting. What is boycotting? We will be boycotting what? All the foreign goods, foreign liquor, foreign institutions like government schools, colleges, law courts, government councils, etc. Okay, however, a heated debate was there regarding the boycotting of legislative council. Some people were not ready because Indian National Congress was a political party and wanted to be the part of the next elections. Okay, now what happened? The plan was presented here. Even he said that if the government did not followed what we are doing, then CDM, civil disobedience, will be done. This proposal was accepted in December session of 1920, organized in Nagpur, and now the non-cooperation movement starts. What starts, my dear students? Non-cooperation movement starts formally here. Right? Now, what are the important points what we have to see whenever we are starting a movement? That is, what are the causes of movement? So, we know what are the causes of movement? Khilafat issue, Jallianwala Bagh Massacre, Rowlatt Act. Okay, what is the demand of the movement? So, demand of the movement is Swaraj. Okay, Swaraj. Who are the participants in the movement? So in the chapter, you know that Swaraj was different for all the people, in which we will write about middle class people, right? Here is one more question: how non-cooperation movement impacted the British economy? Write it down, note it down, going to come for sure. Okay, next is my dear students, after middle class we will see the people in countryside. Here the people in countryside includes the peasants and the tribals. Okay, our peasant movement, and when we talk about tribals, Gudam Hill. Last one is Swaraj and the plantation. What do you mean by it? So plantation workers, they were not even allowed to go out of their plantation area, and hence Swaraj was different for them. So everyone have their own view of Swaraj. But what happened? This non-cooperation movement was withdrawn. Why? An incident happened at the place known as Chauri Chaura in UP Gorakhpur. Violence was seen. Peaceful protestants were protesting. British policemen came, lathi charged on them. The people get agitated, infuriated. They burned the police station. 22 men were killed. Seeing that, Gandhiji withdrew the movement, stating that people are still not ready for the movement. And we here completes what? NCM, that is non-cooperation movement. Okay, take a deep breath, guys. You are doing one of the most difficult topics of your SST, that is history, and these two chapters literally hold an importance in your syllabus. Get it? Now moving to Simon Commission 1928 Commission made for the constitutional development. But it was boycotted by the people of India because there were 7 members and all the members were British. No Indian member in the constitution development. The commission was welcomed by a slogan, Simon, go back. Okay, now moving to civil disobedience movement, Simon Commission was formed and all that thing was going on. Indian National Congress meeting was held, and here in the session 1929, Jawaharlal Nehru was the president who demanded for Purna Swaraj. Okay, here Gandhiji said that I'll give some demands, I'll present 11 demands to Lord Irwin, who was the then Viceroy of India at that time, and asked him to accept the offer. If not, we are going to launch what? Satyagraha, civil disobedience movement that was started by Salt March. Okay, Salt what, my dear students? March. From 12th of March, because ultimatum was given till 11th March if not accepted, 12th of March to 6th April, 28 days. Okay, 28 days. This march was done with 78 delegates, and in later many people joined the Salt March and even organized in their regional areas too. Okay, now what happened with the civil disobedience movement? This was going on and on. Government repression becomes so harsh, all the leaders were arrested, people were killed, people were attacked, and everything was going on. Now Irwin thought that, yaar, what to do? I want to stop this movement. I can't entertain movement in my tenure. Irwin went to Gandhiji. Let's have a dialogue. Okay, Irwin asked Gandhiji, let's have a dialogue. You listen to some of my demands, I'll listen to some of yours. Gandhiji said, okay, my demands are same. There were 11 demands. Okay, you release our political prisoners, you give us lack of revenue and etc. What were the basic demands? You remove that salt tax, which is an inhuman tax, etc. Give us right to make salt. Irwin said, okay, I'll do everything, but you do one thing, you attend our second round table conference and stop the CDM. Both agreed on each other terms. Gandhiji went for second round table conference at London, 1931. What happened? Nothing was done. Failure, came back, started the movement once again in 1932, but CDM lost its momentum. Happens with time, if you're stretching the movement and in between you left the movement, this will happen eventually. People will not be fighting for so many years, long years. They have their life too. Like eating also, job is also there. How will they feed their stomach? And many more things. So what you have to focus on the civil disobedient movement, my dear students, is participants. Participants like what? Industrial workers, industrial owners, peasants. Okay, then we have women participation, but there are also limitations too. Okay, and limitations are untouchables as well as Muslims. These people did not participate in the civil disobedience movement. Question is why? Question will come. Okay, question will be asked. Then you have to answer it by untouchables did not participate because they thought that they can never be allied by the Indian National Congress. They will never be given the same status as the upper class people enjoy. If we talk about untouchables, they were referred Harijans by Gandhiji, and Gandhiji as well as B.R. Ambedkar together made efforts to uplift their position. However, there was clash between both of them. Right, there were demands of B.R. Ambedkar regarding like reserved seats as well as communal electorate. Gandhiji said that, oh my God, I can give reserved seats but not the communal electorate because it will never allow them to merge with the mainstream society. Getting my point? And that because of this, there was a result of Pune Pact in which reservation was given to untouchable peoples. Now goes with Muslims. We know by what happened with the Muslims. Muslims participated in NCM. But what happened? Somewhere their Khalifa issue vanished within the movement, and movement was withdrawn. They were unhappy. Gradually, initially there was no demand of a separate state, but gradually there was demand of a separate state. Hindu Mahasabha was not ready for the demands presented by them regarding the reserved seats in the legislative assemblies and in the areas where they are in majority as well as in minority. Okay, so these are the issues. Sense of collective belonging, very important in terms of India. Okay, I'll talk about that. We have images of Bharat Mata painted by Abanindranath Tagore. Very good. Folklores or folk stories. Here we can write about Rabindranath Tagore, Natesha Shastri, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Okay, we can tell the story of flag, how it evolved by the time. We can tell how history was reinterpreted by the Indian historians. And this is all about the chapter number 2 of history. Are you guys excited to move to the third chapter? Yes. Third chapter is very easy, making of the global world the shortest chapter of the time, that is Silk Route, vibrant pre-modern route that connects China to Europe via Asia as well as north of Africa. Many things traveled with this Silk Route. First was trade was done. Along with that, there was culture which was shared. What you are going to write as examples, students? Remember fast, quickly. So, we are going to write the examples, that is Buddhism, that from India reached to the rest of the world. Then Islam, okay. And the third one is Christianity. Very good. Food travel, from China noodles went and become spaghetti. From Arab people, pasta reached to what? Reached to Sicily. Potato, tomato, chili, etc. How did we got? Because Christopher Columbus discovered America, out of which Europeans got that and then Asian people got that. Very good. You will talk about Irish potato famine and then Spanish conquest of American colonies. Moving towards the last chapter of history, that is print culture. And I know print culture is a little bit boring chapter which you consider. I don't know why I've seen students saying, ma'am, we don't like study this chapter. See, that's the easy chapter and help you to score more. So, print, right? A new culture to the world. Initially, by the time when writing was seen, print was not done. Everything was written by hand, manuscript, which was known as expensive, so much time consuming, so slow process, okay, difficult to handle that pages, right? So which nation first introduced print to the world? Japan. Arey, what happened to me? Sorry, China, right? From China, print reached to Japan. In China, what was the type of printing? Wood block printing, like wood engraved with the shapes and drawings and like printed on a paper with the help of ink. Same reached to Japan. Buddhist diamond sutra. Year 868 AD. Very good. With the spreading of Buddhism, then it reached to Korea. Will the Europeans watch the world? No. So, 1295, there was a person, Marco Polo. Italian explorer reached Europe and taught Europe about this new technology, that is wood block printing. Now Europeans being smart, what they did, this hand or wood block printing, hand printing was done mechanized. Machines were seen there, and after which comes the revolution. So much printing was seen. After which comes what, my dear students? The revolutions. Get it? Very good, very good, very good. Now comes print revolution and its impacts. But this came when Johann Gutenberg, in the year 1448, perfected the what? Printing press. Perfected what, my dear student? Perfected the printing press. Now what is printing press? It is a machine which helps to print. You are not doing hand printing or woodblock printing now. He was a smart person, goldsmith person. In his house there were olive presses. He merged both technology. 1448 perfected the system. First book that was printed in 3 years, that was Bible. How many copies? Tell me in the comment section right now. Tell me in the comment section right now how many copies were printed by Gutenberg. Now, new thing, revolution will change the world. Initially books were not what we can say entertained that much, but later on it was gradually accepted in the society, and then we have seen the print revolution and its impact. What happened when there was revolution? New reading public was there, people who started reading, right? We know that the education system of India, world was such that the higher class of people were privileged for this. Now what happened? Other people also started reading it. A new reading public was there. Literacy rate was increasing day by day. When there will be reading, there will be religious debates. Because why? That upper class people have taught the world in a way that they remains at the top. Religious questions were like, if you are not that educated, whatever is said to you, you will follow. If someone says you do not cut your nails on Thursday, you will follow. If you are not someone who is having knowledge or someone to ask the question. Now, but you are reading, you are getting every knowledge. Now you will ask why? This is God, you have to believe. Why? So now the religious questions started, and there was fear of print. Some people were fearing that, my God, this print is going to break our autonomy. And hence they started dissent, okay? Like prohibition of printed books. This was a index of prohibited books prepared, that these books will not be entertained in the market, because there were certain revolutionaries who were questioning their authority, like Martin Luther, Erasmus, Luther. Okay, very good. Reading mania, like when literacy was growing up in Europe, okay, now people wanted to read more. If we sell them small books, cheap books, they will buy more. Okay, so what happened? Almanacs, that ritual calendars in our house, they were having so much of content, right? Then we can talk about England. In England, chapbooks were made, small books of small pages, like 5 to 6 pages, so that there is a story, you read it interestingly and left it. The chapmans were selling those books at their houses, like people's houses. Okay, there was Bibliothèque Bleue in France. Okay, there were stories regarding scientific discoveries and philosophers that talks about democracy. Okay, like Rousseau, Voltaire, they tell the people about equality. Crazy thing is going to come. Yes, the French Revolution also have the, what we can say, relation with the print culture. How? It spreaded the idea of enlightened thinkers, Voltaire, Rousseau, etc. When enlightened thinkers thinking is being spread, there is a, like what we can say, a culture of debate and discussions, debates and discussions going on. Questioning, criticizing, what? Mocking the morality and that monarchical order going in the state. Okay, getting my point, my dear student? And here comes a statement, tremble therefore tyrants of the world, the tyrants, the despotic people who were ruling the world from a long time. Now you need to tremble. That means you're going to shaken. Who said this? Louis Sebastian Mercier. Very good. 19th century, we have seen children, women and workers, their influence on the print influence on them. And then comes a very, very important topic, that is India and the world of print. My dear students, India and the world of print. So initially in India also manuscripts basically manu means hand, anything that's written by hand, right? So initially, like if I talk about the first book in India, Ved was written, Upanishads was written, they were copied year by year. First it was orally transmitted, then it was copied year by year to keep it preserved, but we know that it's awkward to handle, it will not be able to be preserved for a longer period of time. So hence, print came to India. Who brought print to India? Europeans. First was Portuguese. And here how Tamil books, Kannada books, then Konkani books started to be printed in India. Portuguese people came in India at the earliest, na? We know that. Who was the first person? Vasco da Gama, 1498, came to India. And then how the story of looting started. So, Portuguese were the first people to introduce what? Print and culture to India. Okay. The main and the important topic is, my dear students, about women and poor. If we see the role of print in the life of women is very important. There are examples, like there is a conservative Muslim family, okay, wanted their daughters to study in Persian language. She wants to study in Urdu language, and this is how she started her studying. A woman in Bengal wanted to studied in the kitchen, right? Wrote the autobiography, Amar Jaman. Who is the lady? Tell me. Okay, Kailash Basini Devi we have. Okay, similarly, if we talk about poor, then we have Jyotiba Phule. Gulamgiri is a book written by him. A Kanpur mill worker is there, right? So there are certain stories that tells us the importance of print in the life of the people of India, right? But there is also an interesting story. Newspaper also started meanwhile. Bengal Gazette, first one. James Augustus Hickey, he started writing the gossips of the British officials, right? But what happened? Then Indian people started printing. Britishers, they were revealing the story regarding the Britishers. Britishers said, "Oh my God, they will reveal us." So hence started the censorship. Somewhere stopping them to print or to speak against the Britishers. Get it? So we know that one of the act that was passed during that time was Vernacular Press Act 1878. Okay, what happened in the Vernacular Press Act? If you print anything against the Britishers, what will happen? Your print will be, first of all, when you are opening a printing press or you have a printing press, you have to submit an amount to the Britishers. And if you wrote something against them, their amount will be seized. After that, your printing press will be seized if you don't stop. So this is how censorship went, and here we complete the first 25% syllabus today, completing all the chapters from history. 4 done, 15 remaining. Okay. Okay, now let's move to the next session, that is about civics. We will start with the easiest chapter of SST, that is power sharing. Okay. So in power sharing, what we have to stay our concentration on are the topics of cases of Belgium, case of Belgium, case of Sri Lanka, why power sharing is derivable, and what are the modern forms of democracies in which power sharing is. What are the forms of power sharing in modern democracies? So I'll start with the case of Belgium. So Belgium is a country that is in Europe, right, in the continent Europe. It is a democratic country, but what happens? There was a problem of ethnic composition there. What was the problem, my dear student? Ethnic composition was such that in this, like if rough map, it is gun, looking like gun by the way. So this was Flemish region, and this was Wallonia region. Very, very bad map. Wallonia region. In the Flemish region, there was 59% of the total population lives which speaks the language Dutch. Here 40% of the population lives which speaks the language French. The rest 1% people speaks the language German. So pay attention, who is in the majority in the country? Dutch. But when we see this capital of Belgium, that is Brussels, okay, in this the population was such that there was 80% people who speaks the language French and there were 20% people who speaks the language Dutch. So the people Dutch who are in majority in the nation were in minority in the capital. However, the problem starts with the fact that these French people were relatively rich and powerful, and where there is money, everything went into their hands. Eventually, the harsh reality. But what happened? The French people were so relatively rich, all the benefits were enjoyed by them early. So don't you think that the Dutch people will be unhappy? Yes, civil crisis arose, but this civil crisis was sorted in Belgium by accommodation. And what is accommodation? Accommodation of what? Accommodation of the social and regional diversity. How they accommodated? This is the very, very important topic of the chapter. So the constitution was amended from 1970 to 1993. How many times? 4 times. What happened? First point is that in the central government, okay, in the central government there will be what? 50% people. Basically, there will be equal representation of both the social communities, Dutch and French. The number of ministers will be equal. Some powers from the central government will be shared to the state government so that the state government do not leave as a subordinate. Okay. Third one will be, there will be a state government. There will be a government in the Belgium, that is capital Brussels, that is the capital, separate government in the capital where equal representation will be seen from all the social groups. Last but not the least, that's very important about the community government, right? All the communities will have their government. They will make laws on the topics of their language, religion, language, education, etc. So this was the solution done in Belgium. What happened? Became a peaceful place. Brussels was chosen as the headquarter, right? Now what happened? Sorted here. There is another case of Sri Lanka. Another case, different case, democracy. However, the ethnic composition was such that there were people, 74% who speaks the language Sinhala, right? 18% people who speaks the language Tamil. Out of this 18%, 13% were Sri Lankan Tamils. Okay, as well as the rest 5% were Indian Tamils, right, who went there for work or by Britishers during that time. And the 7% are Christians. Now what happened, bhai? They are fighting. Why they are fighting? Because these Sinhala people, like in 1948, Sri Lanka became an independent nation, and for obvious reason, the government will be formed by majority. These people followed a policy that is majoritarian policy. Which policy, my dear students? Majoritarian policy, in which they made Sinhala official language of the nation. Okay, they said that Buddhism will be fostered and protected. They said that preference will be given to Sinhala people in the government seats, exams, etc. Right? Now, these people get agitated by Tamilians who are feeling alienated. They formed certain groups. They demanded for separate Tamil state, Tamil Ilm, which is known as, and it was a civil war which lasted for till 2009, which deteriorated their social, economic and political life. Get it? Okay. So now there is a case which sorted the problem by power sharing. There is a case which do not sorted and resulted into civil war, and hence comes the topic why power sharing is desirable. So there are certain prudential as well as moral reason for this which you have to study, because this is an important topic. Now comes the topic that is major forms of power sharing in modern democracies. So there are popular 4 forms. Power is shared among what? Among different organs of government. What are the organs? Repeat after me. Say that. Legislative, executive, and judicial. Right? Organs, that means, my God, this is a complete body which divided into different bodies to perform separate work. Like our hands are used for something else, legs for something else. But we are a single unit. Similarly, this is a government, central government, dividing their powers. That is known as horizontal division of powers. Then we have among different levels of government, vertical division of power. Okay, there is a central government, below which there is a state government, below which there is a local government. Right? Power can also be shared among different social groups. We just saw in the community government in Belgium, social groups, by there are so many groups, power need to be shared. Power can also be shared among different political parties, coalition government, bhai. Gathbandhan Sarkar. There are pressure groups in which power is shared, who are targeting the government, who are attacking the government, demanding the government for so long. Get it? And here we complete the chapter power sharing. Moving to federalism. See, my dear students, here civics is quite important. Very important. Right? Because easy one will help you to score good in exams. Right? Talking about federalism, what is federalism, my dear students? What is federalism? Sharing of power. Sharing of power among what? Levels of government. Different levels of government. This is known as federalism. Okay? Government. Like power is shared between central government to state government and then the local government. Okay? Chapter starts with the features of federalism, and features of federalism are, bhai, first of all, there are levels of government. So the first feature says that there will be, okay, there will be two or more than two tiers of government. Okay? All these tiers will have different jurisdiction. Now, what is jurisdiction, guys? Difficult word with an easy meaning. Work area. What is the work performed by these levels? In which area is the work performed? This is the actual meaning. Okay, so they will have different jurisdiction. Where are these jurisdictions written? In the Constitution of India. Constitution of India. If anyway there is a fight between different levels of the government, then who is the final interpreter? The highest court, that is Supreme Court, will be the final interpreter. Get it? More we have to study. Can we make any changes to this? No, we cannot, because this is the basic principle of Indian Constitution and you can't change it by depending on your mood. Rather, we should write here that the basic principle, federalism, cannot be unilaterally changed. It cannot be unilaterally changed. It requires the consent of all the levels of government. Right? For performing their work, they need money too, and there is a source of revenue for all the levels of government, and that is listed in the Constitution. Okay, very good. Now I want one answer from you guys, that is, what is the objective of federalism? 2 points given in the book. I hope you have studied that. When you will comment me, I can understand that you know that. Okay. Another important topic from the same chapter is routes through which federalism can be adopted. So there are two routes. One is coming together federalism, holding together federalism. Coming together, when different units came together to form a single unit. Okay, coming together, what? Federalism. USA, United States of America, Switzerland, Australia. Holding together federalism, when all these states are holded, but how? By giving some rights to them. right? Hold it and then form a single unit, matlab it hold it in a single unit. Example is India and Spain. This is how federalism can be adopted. Now comes the question, what makes India a federal country? Is India a federal country? Do you know that no word federal is listed in the Indian Constitution, written in the Indian Constitution? Then how India is a federal country? In the Article 1 of Indian Constitution, it is written that India, that is Bharat, shall be union of the states. Isn't it like we are an unitary country? No. We have returned unitary to reduce the effects of federalism. Okay, that is right to secede away so that the states can be separated further. If this right has been given in India, what would happen? India would be divided into several states. Hence, we are a quasi-federal country. Get it, my dear bachas? Now, what makes India a federal country and how is federalism practiced? The most confusing topic, I don't know why. See, what makes India a federal country? The legislative divisions of power. Pay attention. The legislative division of power, administrative division of power, and where it is given in the schedule of Indian Constitution, which talks about different list. The one is union list. It contains the subjects of national importance, all the subjects that are of the national importance, and the laws related to this will be made by central government. Okay, what are the subjects? Like currency. If currency will not be a central subject now, then there will be a problem. There are some topics which need to be governed by the central government. Along with that, there is army, that means defense, foreign affairs. Second list is state list. Second list is state list, in which there are topics or subjects of regional importance. Regional importance, and the laws are made by the state government. Then we have third list, that is concurrent list, in which there are subjects of common interest or common importance, in which both the central and the state government can make the law. Right? If I talk about state list, then we can see there are topics like agriculture, irrigation, police. Concurrent list, education, right? Then concurrent list is done. There are certain residuary subjects which are not listed anywhere, added later. Who makes the law in this? Central government makes the law. Why? Because India follows a pattern in which federalism is there, but center is more powerful. You know that this is basically a Canadian arrangement. Do not write it anywhere because this is not given in NCERT. I'm just telling you. Okay, this makes India a federal country, my dear students. Now, how is federalism practiced in India? So, when India became an independent nation, there was so much work in front of our leaders. The first is formation of states, in which we will talk about linguistic states. Okay, then there are language policies. Then there are third one, that is center state relations. Now what happened? The first and the major, like what we can call the first and the major test in front of Indian democracy was the formation of states. We became a nation, independent nation, after Britishers left us. We removed Britishers 1947. Okay, now what happened in 1947? The first task was to form the states, administrative divisions in the nations, right? So, question was there in Constituent Assembly that the state should be made on certain basis. What will be the basis? Some said language, some said another thing, etc. But people questioned that if we make the states on the basis of language, will it undermine the unity of the nation? Right? So some said yes, it will. But now the protest started in India. Andhra Pradesh was made the first state, and then 1956 State Reorganization Commission. Some states were made on the basis of linguistic or language thing, and it rather undermining the unity, it like perfected the unity of the nation. Okay, language policy, no. National language, Hindi and English as the official language, as well as 21 scheduled language. Are they 21? 21 plus Hindi. Okay. Then we have center-state relations. Like before 1990, the relations were such that one single party was in majority in the nation. After that, some regional parties rose, due to which coalition form of government is seen in the nation. And the important topic is decentralization. By decentralization, what is decentralization? When powers are taken from the central government and state government given to local government, that is known as decentralization. When this is done, powers are taken from here, local people, and given to one only person, this is known as centralization. When powers are taken from state given to, center given to state and then given to local government, this is known as decentralization. What are the needs of decentralization? Local issues should be solved at the local level. Question will come, what are the features? So when was decentralization done? 1992. What happened? So constitutional status was given to bodies like panchayats and municipalities, popularly known as local self-governing bodies. Known as what, my dear students? Local self-governing bodies. Then there will be regular elections to these bodies. Seats will be reserved for SC, ST and OBC. 1/3 seats will be reserved for women. Okay, and the source of revenue is given in the constitution for them. Along with that, there will be a state body, separate body, that is known as State Election Commission for the election of panchayats and municipalities. And this is all about the chapter federalism. Get it? Very good. Let's move to the next one. That is gender, religion and caste. So the chapter is quite easy, theoretic chapter, realistic chapter, which starts with the public and private division, that how women are being undermined in the society because of their what? Their sexual division, incapability, considering the biological impact, because of biological impact. However, certain movements were started to bring equality of status among men and women, popularly known as feminist movement. But still, like after having so much development in the nation and so much movement started by feminist people, still the women's lag behind the men. Women were being disadvantaged, discriminated. What are the 5 ways? First way is literacy rate. If you check the literacy rate, you will clearly see the difference between men and women. 54% for women, 78% for men. Okay, sex ratio. You can see that there are 919 average, 919 women over 1,000 men. Then we will talk about unequal pay. This is the major issue. Women and men are not paid equally, right? Then we know one more thing, that is about domestic violence. Nothing to talk about this, everyone know, right? And the low political representation. Low political representation. Okay, students. However, there are certain steps taken to upgrade the women. What are they? First, equal. Now I am telling about only the things written in NCERT. Okay. Equal Remuneration Act. What is Equal Remuneration Act? Equal Remuneration Act says that there will be equal pay for equal work for both men and women, passed in the year 1956. Second one, right? 1/3 reservation is given to women, okay, where in local self-governing bodies. Third one, now this is very, very important. This 1/3 reservation to women in parliament Okay, as well as Lok Sabha. The bill was presented in 2011 but could not be passed for many years because it was not passed by the MPs. However, it is passed now. Okay, so the change is there in NCERT. Get it, bacha? Very good. So this is the topic about gender. Now we have three phases of this chapter: gender, religion and caste. Moving to the religion thing, so there is one concept known as communalism. What is communalism? When you think that my community is the superior and others is inferior. What is the principal basis of communalism? Religion. When it enters into politics, what it is known as communal politics. How does it takes phase in politics? The people think that the government should be made by our community. What is the impact of it? Communal violence, like the partition of India and Pakistan. Get it? What is a secular state? Is India a secular state? Yes, India is a secular state. 3-marker question: how India is a secular state? Why? Because India do not give any official status to any religion, rather allows all the religion to be pursued by the people. Okay, first point, the Constitution of India says that every citizen has the right to practice, propagate and profess their religion. Second point, Constitution prohibits discrimination on the basis of religion. Get it? So this is how India is a secular state. Last, that is caste and politics. So caste is something special in the Indian society. If we see, caste is really something different in the Indian society, right? How, students? Like this. So caste basically is formed on the basis of discrimination and exclusion. The basis of it is work. Right? You are a Brahmin, you have to follow this work. You are a Kshatriya, you will follow this work. It eventually became the part of Indian society. However, it's like deteriorating in the Indian society because of development. Question can come: what change? How changes are occurred in the caste system in India? But still, it is deep rooted. We can't deny this fact. So there are two important topics from this: caste in politics, politics in caste, which students are so much confused about every time. Are you also someone like this? Are you guys also someone like this, facing issues in caste and politics, politics and caste? Now we can't take the chance, we are very close to exams. So what is caste in politics? Caste in politics, like I will tell you, there is a car. How to draw car? So very bad in drawing. There is a car. There is a person in the car. Okay, so caste in where? Politics. See, person in the caste, car, person in the caste. Okay, so person in car और कार इन पर्सन. ये कैसे हुआ भाई, खा गया क्या कार को? कार इन पर्सन. ठीक है, so politics in caste. Now see, caste in politics, politics in caste. What happened caste in politics? When people like choose the candidate in the political party, seeing the caste composition of this area, oh my god, select this and they will give us a vote. Now that person will ask for votes, like choosing all that caste sentiments, blackmailing them. Oh my god, I will do this work for our god, for this and that. Right, for this region, we are belonging to same caste. Bhai bhai. Right, they will do that. So this is caste in politics. What's politics in caste? Separating one larger caste to small caste, merging small caste to larger caste to show that their community is larger, making their influence in the society. Get it? Okay, so we are here done with the chapter gender, religion and caste. Moving to the next chapter, political parties. Very close to complete civics. Political parties, outcomes of democracy. Okay, just two left. So what is a political party, my dear students? It is a group of people It is a group of people coming together to contest election. Coming together to contest election and form the government. And form the government. Okay, what are the three components of the political party? By political party, you will identify by a leader. Okay, strong leader, more recognition. Controversial leader, more and more recognition. So the next is active leaders, active members. And the followers who are running behind the rallies with their bikes. Do you guys see that? They are the followers. Okay? Active members, karyakarta, basically. So what are the functions of political party? Pay attention. What are the functions? First, they contest election. By this is the main objective. We should not forget this. Okay? They contest elections. For contesting election, they form their policies and programs. By when they come joining their hands, they tell now what we are going to do. That is their policies and programs. The third one here is next. What is next one? So they form the government. If they won the election, they form the government. Acha, if they do not won the election, then they will play the role of opposition. They will play the role of opposition. And one more thing, they shape public opinion. They shape public opinion. Get it, my dear students? Very good. So here functions are done. After functions, what we need to see? So there are so many political parties in India, right? More than 500 political parties. So there might be certain functions, like there might be certain body who look at the functioning of this political party. Yes, that is Election Commission of India. Which it is beta, Election Commission of India, who recognize a political party. And after seeing their work, it is recognized as a national political party or a regional or state political party. Bacha, this is very important because the criteria to declare a political party as a national and a regional one is asked in the question paper again and again. I hope that this will come in your exam and you can answer it nicely. So what is the criteria? At least there should be 6% of total votes in the general elections to Lok Sabha or any of the 4 states. 6% of total votes in the general election to that respective state legislative assemblies, but in the 4 state plus 4 seats in Lok Sabha. Okay. Now what is the criteria for regional one? 6% of total votes in the general elections to the legislative assembly plus 2 seats in this respective state legislative assembly. Ma'am, you just spoke like a parrot. How to remember? Beta, do it. You will remember it. Okay? State, that means legislative assembly. Center yani ki parliament. Okay? Very good. Challenges to political parties. Very, very important topic. Like if we have seen muscle power, money power there. Muscle and money power. Who is the strongest gets the ticket, paisa. The next is lack of internal democracy. Political party is going to make in a nation democracy, establish democracy, and they themselves are not working in a democratic arena. No attendance, nothing, only topmost leaders taking the decisions. Everything going good. Third one is, what is third one? Dynastic succession. By this is I witnessed by us. Dynastic succession. And the last one is no meaningful choice. By there are so many political parties bifurcated from each other, having the principles same. How can we distinguish that this is good, this is not good? No meaningful choice. We don't have meaningful choice. Okay. Now comes to the topic that is reforms in the political party. Some are being done and some are being suggested. Like if I talk about what is done as a reform, anti-defection law. What you will write by anti-defection. Like we see there is a magnet, another magnet. Whenever a magnet sees the magnet, it goes to that. Whenever leader sees the money, they divert it, deflect it to their own objective. So a political leader elected by the people from a political party, after getting elected, changes the political party because they were giving the more benefits. That is known as defection. Anti-defection law is made for that. Again, along with this, there are certain other things, like election commission is asked to get all the members of it, right, with ITR, that means income tax return, filed. Then all the members of the political party will give their what? Affidavit. Affidavit, that means legal detail about what? Their criminal cases as well as their assets and liabilities, that means details of their property or all the assets and liabilities. Get it, my dear students? This is the chapter political parties. Outcomes of democracy. By how do we assess democracy? It gives what? It gives freedom and dignity to the individual. It gives equality. There are chances to correct the mistakes. Yes, there are. If they do the mistake, we protest, we revolt, etc. Right? There are chances. People have the participation in the decision-making process. So, this is how we assess the democracy. Bacha, 5 mark question. Recall it. Okay. Next is how democracy is accountable, responsive, legitimate. Accountable bhai, that means answerable. Why? Because it is chosen by the people. Represented form of government. Whenever you make the government, you want the government to be answerable to you. How? All the decisions of yours will be taken by your representative leaders. That too with long debates, negotiation in a transparent manner. Legitimate government, my own watch. I have a legitimate right over it. Similarly, people says that teda hai par mera hai, bhai, this is the government I made, it's my government, I have the legitimate right over it. Get it? Very good. Economic development, this is a very important topic in this chapter. That is democracy. Does democracy means economic development? No. They said that they will give economic equality, but it is not possible. Right? It created a situation of haves and have-nots. Rich are becoming richer, poor are becoming poor. If we look at the last data, we will see that even dictatorship government has worked well in the economic development. But if we assess and see that, yes, we are lacking in the economic development, but it is better than dictatorship. Okay, reduction of inequality and poverty, not that much done. Like, yes, it is done, but not that much. Accommodation of social diversity, this is important, bacha. Accommodation, all the social diverse people in a multi-diverse nation like India, it is successfully accommodated. How? There is a point that the majority government should not means that the government is formed by majority. Right? Now in a nation where 80% people belongs to certain community, it's very definite that the government will be formed by majority. Then what? Then it should not only work for the majority. It should not be the government for the majority only. Okay? Get it? Now dignity and freedom of citizens. Here you can give the example of women in India. Like not in India, everywhere. How women were are by passing certain changes in the administration and legislations, women are felt dignified. And then we can talk about disadvantaged people. Disadvantaged people like SC, ST people in India. Right? They were disadvantaged in terms of economic development, political development, social status. So work was done. Get it? And here we end the last chapter of civics. We will move to the toughest. Next toughest, because toughest was history. Next toughest part, that is geography. Okay, now let us move to the next one, that is geography, a big part of our SST. So, resource and development, one of the easiest chapter in the entire geography. We will start with resources and its classification. Students, we are studying whatever we use, okay, from the environment is a resource. But here, this year, it gives us a new definition that anything which is technologically accessible, pay attention, which is technologically accessible by, we are having enough technology that we are able to use it, then this is a resource. Uranium in Jammu Kashmir, we are unable to exploit it. Why? Because we lack in technology. Then it should be culturally acceptable. It should be what, my dear students? Culturally acceptable. Like initially when the Western culture came in India, it was not accepted, hence the things produced there was not a resource for us. And the third one is, so technologically accessible, culturally acceptable, and economically feasible too. That means our pocket should allow us to buy that product, otherwise it is not a resource for us. Like the Lamborghini walking on the roads is not a resource for me, because I can't use it, I can buy it actually. Hope one day. However, no materialistic approach. So next is classification of resources. So we classify resources on the basis of origin as biotic and abiotic. Very good. Think about the examples meanwhile I am teaching. Like, this is not the way to study, just start a video, listen everything. No. The process is, if I am talking about origin, then think, okay, biotic, abiotic. Now, exhaustibility. What is the example? Renewable and non-renewable. Then we have status of development. Okay. So, resource and development classification on the basis of origin, on the basis of what? Exhaustibility. On the basis of ownership, is it public resource, private resource, individual resource, what it is, right? Community resource, ownership, national resource, international, however 4 are given in your book. Individual, community, national, international. Okay, very good. Then when there are resource, people have become greedy. When people will become greedy, they will start using the resources in a greedy manner. That will lead to degradation of resources. That was happening in the world, and hence Earth Summit was organized. Where? Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, 1992, and here comes the concept of sustainable development, and it was analyzed that we need to plan, we need to plan resource planning in India. Okay, what are the steps? First, identify the resources, identification and inventory of resources. Identification and inventory of resources. What is second one? When you identify resource, then you make a planning structure. This is what I am going to do. This is my planning. These are the institutions I will use. This will be the technology that is I am going to use. Now last and the most important one, that is matching. What do you match? Matching the resource development plan. Resource development plan with the national development plan. It doesn't mean that Jharkhand has so much of coal, they themselves use it entirely. No. It will be like on the basis of national demand. Na? So resource planning is one of the important topic from this section, which can come. I'm sure about this question will come from this topic. Next is land resources. So we are aware that there is unequal distribution of land coming down the percentage of plain, mountains as well as plateau right now. Then after this, what we have to study? Land utilization. My dear students, make a list right now. That is land utilization. Then we will talk about what in this? Land degradation. What are the ways by which land is degraded? So land is degraded because ways, not reason, I'll say. Deforestation, the first one, important one. Then there will be overmining in the areas of Punjab and Haryana. Overgrazing in the areas of Gujarat and Rajasthan. Then because of over irrigation, sorry, over mining, I said Punjab and Haryana, no, I'm wrong here. So over mining in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh area, over irrigation in Punjab and Haryana, then we know that mineral, like there are mineral processing units which like process, and then the effluents that are released, they discharge directly on the land surface, which degrades them completely. And then we talk about land conservation. What are the methods? Afforestation is a method, right? Now focusing on grazing is a method. Over irrigation we should not do. Then shelter bills can be done, right? Various. Now last one, that is soil resource. Students, how many types of soil are there in India? 6 types of soils are there. Why, this is something that I know you guys have marked up. So the first one is alluvial soil. Alluvial soil. Then we have what? Black soil. Third one is red and yellow soil. Red and yellow soil. Then we have laterite soil. Okay, what? Laterite soil. Rest is then we have arid soil, forest and mountain soil. Forest and mountain soil. Okay, but in this soil, what we have to study is, see, pay attention whenever students, whenever you are writing answers or whenever you are studying something that have so much of content, and we know that we can forget, like here we have. So what we have to study is, I will bifurcate it for you. Pay attention. Whenever there is soil, we have one topic, that is formation, by how soils are formed. Alluvial soil formed of the because of the deposition of the sediments brought by the 3 major rivers, Ganga, Brahmaputra and Indus. Right? First one, black soil formed by the what? Igneous rock formed out of the volcanic eruption. Then red and yellow, they are igneous crystalline rocks. Okay. Then they are laterite soil. How it is formed? Because of intense rainfall, leaching process is done, the topsoil flow away. Arid soil, we know that. How arid soil is formed? It is formed out in the sandy region with less rainfall, and this is it. The formation is the one. Crops grown in this type of soil. Okay, where the soil is found, areas, like if I talk about alluvial plains, no, complete northern plain is covered. Black soil, Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Malwa. Red and yellow soil, the Piedmont is the Piedmont zone in the Western Ghats, right? Then laterite soil, the areas of high rainfall, Kerala, Northeast. Arid soil, Rajasthan. Forest soil, in the forest, mountain region, where it is, figure it out. Then we will end it with features, and we will learn 2 features of each. Like if I talk about alluvial, it is the most fertile soil, highly populated, intensively cultivated, rich in what? Lime, potash and what? Phosphoric acid, right? Same goes with black, same goes with all the soils. Figure it out today and complete it. Very good. Now resource, and it was soil. Soil also comes with a topic, that is soil erosion. Topic is soil erosion. What is soil erosion, my dear students? The removal of top layer of soil. The removal of the top layer of soil is known as soil erosion. Here 3 examples or types are given. One is gully erosion. Okay, gully erosion, like this is an area in which like a river is flowing, it enters to the other areas, and like this it develops badlands, gullies. Okay, then we have sheet erosion. Okay, sheet erosion, completely one of this like layer of soil is eroded because of wind, water, and then there is a wind erosion particularly. Okay, how to conserve this soil erosion? So we have shelter bills, terrace farming. Like what are shelter bills? I'll tell you everything. So what are the ways in which soil erosion can be prevented? Soil erosion can be prevented by various forms, students. First of all is afforestation. Yes, when you grow forest, the roots what? They grab the soil and do not allow it to flow away. Okay, second is shelter bells. Shelter bells, like what is shelter bells? This is a farm. You grow the trees over here. Why? So that whenever there is flow of water or wind, it prevents it from entering into the main agriculture field. Then third one you are aware about is terrace farming. Okay, terrace farming. One can be strip cropping. Strip cropping. What is strip cropping, bacha? There is an agriculture field. You grow crops, you plow it, and likewise there are spaces in between. You can grow grasses here, which eventually deaccelerate the flow of wind and water. Get it? Very good. So we are ending with the chapter resource and development, moving to forest and wildlife. Beta, there are not so much topics from this chapter, but very important one in the perspective of exam. Why so? Because when we see the starting of the chapter, we see that here the description is given. India is rich in biodiversity. We have flora, we have this much % of fauna, etc., etc. The first important question from this topic will be, what are the methods? What are the methods chosen or done? Yes, steps taken by the center and state government for the conservation of forest. How you will answer this? You will answer in a way, first point, that here in India, Indian Wildlife Protection Act was passed. Wildlife Protection Act was passed so that there will be what? Ban in the hunting and poaching. There will be ban in hunting and poaching and provide them a what? Protected area. Okay, for this the center as well as state government, the center and the state government has formed national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. National parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Get it, students? This is also good. Then third step that was taken for the conservation of forest and wildlife, Indian Protection Act was there. Center and state, different projects were there. Different projects like Project Tiger. Okay, Project Rhinosaur. Later on, so many species were added. This is it. Next is about what is the role of community for the conservation of forest and wildlife by fix the question from this chapter. You will remember me when the question comes in your exam. Okay, well, let's start. So community and conservation, steps taken by the community conservation, first one. Which one is the first one? Remember it, I am also recalling it. There are 5 steps taken by that. First one is, I get it, Sariska Tiger Reserve. Okay, Sariska Tiger Reserve. Now what happened in Sariska Tiger Reserve? The government went there for mining activity and thought that people will welcome them. People said, Acha, Indian Wildlife Protection Act citing this act. They said, no, we will not allow, we'll protect our wildlife. Very good step taken. Second is Alwar district. What happened in the Alwar district of Rajasthan? The people there declared their 1200 hectares of land as Bhairodev Dakav Sanctuary. Bhairodev, what? Bacha? Bhairodev Dakav Sanctuary. Now Bhairodev Dakav Sanctuary, basically an area they declared a sanctuary in which there will be their rules and regulations, and no one will be interfering in this rules and regulations. By no one I mean government. Okay, third, we popularly know about Chipko movement. You guys are aware about Chipko movement. Okay, and the fourth one is Beej Bachao Andolan. Beej Bachao Andolan. We know that there are so much mixing of the seeds, genetically advanced and on that. So this Andolan was started by the people in Tehri. Tehri is in Uttarakhand. The people of Tehri in Uttarakhand. Right? And then in the 5th point, we can write about sacred groves. What are sacred groves, bacha? In Indian tradition, we know that we worship what? See, 3rd point. We worship the forest, the wildlife. Right? Gau Mata we call, Tulsi Devi we call. So why? Because seeing the features of the forest and wildlife, we worship them. Just this is made mandatory to protect them. right? Sacred groves. There are certain tribal societies right now also connected to their forest so much that they worship them. So 5th point you will write about them. We are already aware about the black buck case, right? The Bishnoi community. Whenever the question comes from the sacred groves, you can write the example of Bishnoi community worshipping the black buck, etc. Okay, then there is also the list about Bhil, Santals in the book. Moving to the next chapter, that is water resource, the 3rd chapter of geography. We have 6 to do, and then the last topic, that will be economics. Done with the 19 chapters and relax. Not now, later. Okay, water resource, water scarcity by scarcity of water. Less water, big population. So we need to take steps regarding water conservation. Okay, we are aware about that. So how are we going to conserve the water? Do we have any plans? Do we have any projects? So bacha, what happened in the ancient India, right? In the ancient India, certain multi-purpose projects were made. So I'll start this with dams, right? What are dams? Dams are basically, pay attention, dams are basically reservoir where something is being reserved. What is reserved, beta? So the excess of rainwater, as well as the river water that causes floodplains, etc. Whenever there is excess, it collects it. In ancient India also, there were certain practices that existed. Like if we talk about in Allahabad, Shringverpura, a sophisticated system was there. Okay. If I talk about Chandragupta Maurya, he built so many dams. Chandragupta Maurya. So see, here we are talking about 1 BC, 2 BC. We can take the example of Hauz Khas built by Mughals. Then there is an example of Bhopal Lake, right? So yes, here in ancient India also certain things existed, right? But now, like dams were built in the modern perspective, which were referred as multi-purpose, that the purpose of the dams now is not only this, rather irrigating the fields, right, generating energy, getting my point, internal navigation and many more. Hence they are referred as multi-purpose river valley projects. Jawaharlal Nehru said that, what he said, he proclaimed the statement that the dams are the temples of modern India. They are the temples of what? Modern India. When I once took the live, one student said that, ma'am, it was said by Gandhiji. By Gandhiji went up during this time. So he didn't say that. Okay. However, Jawaharlal Nehru said the statement as well as dams were made for the perspective to control floods and to collect that water, which can be further used for irrigation and agriculture purpose as well as domestic use or industrial use too, right? Now comes the main question, that why these dams comes under scrutiny. Are there any negatives of the dam? Yes. The first one is just opposite of its perspective, that it causes floods. Yes, why? Because of poor sedimentation. How? I'll tell you. By there is a natural flow of river. You are affecting it by making the dam. Now what happens? Sediments are bought. They get started depositing here, which used to be naturally flown by the river. Now what happens? It reduces the depth of the river. When water is filled, it comes out as flood, causing flood because of poor sedimentation. It affects even the aquatic life. Okay, it affects the natural scenery. It affects the cropping pattern, because now because of dam irrigation is possible, people are over irrigating their farms. Cropping pattern is totally changed. It asks the people to leave their places because this construction needs place, right? So it displaces the people from their local places. These are the negatives of what bacha? Multi-purpose river valley projects. And now we will move to the rainwater harvesting systems by rainwater harvesting systems. Right? First we will talk about the traditional rainwater harvesting systems. Do you know what is rainwater harvesting? Rainwater is a fresh source of fresh water that comes, we can collect it in various ways. First one is gulls and kulls. Now in the Himalayan region, what are these? They are diversion channels, like rivers are flowing in the Himalayan region. Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus have source of fresh water which eventually mix with ocean water. Why? Whenever there is overflow, why can't we store it? Right? By forming this what? Channels. Okay, sorry, these are not channels. I'm very bad. So I'm not. These are not channels, like these are the rivers. They are lake type structure. They are storage areas particularly. Sorry for this. There are these inundation channels, my bad. Inundation channels are there in West Bengal, bacha. Okay, so West Bengal inundation channels are there, like this river. Then within beneath the surface, these channels are made and diversified the water. Third one, we can say that Tanka system in Rajasthan. Where? Tanka system. So tanks are made in Rajasthan beneath their houses. Very good. Then we have in Jaisalmer. Okay, in Jaisalmer we have the rainwater harvesting system, right? Falodi. Acha, what is Tanka system? Also known as Palar Pani. Okay, it is also known as Palar Pani. So these are the system, traditional system. Acha, what are the points we need to remember? Where is bamboo drip irrigation practiced? Bamboo drip irrigation practiced. Why? This is bamboo, hollow structure inside. They join it together, make small holes, take it from the agriculture field and it get irrigated. Or similar way, they can pass the water from here or diversify to a storage place. Get it? Okay, which state is the state that made rainwater harvesting compulsory? Done? Very good. Moving to the next chapter. We are speeding up now, right? Next chapter is agriculture. Next is what, beta? Agriculture, types of farming. We have different types of farming. Primitive subsistence farming. See, the chapter is quite important for geography. Very, very important. Right? Primitive subsistence. The word primitive means old. Right? Subsistence means self-consumption. With old methods of plow, how, dow, etc. Right? Done on small plots of land, because not needed, na? It was done for self-consumption. Intensive. Why it becomes intensive? Because population increase. The second type is intensive subsistence farming. Get it, beta? Okay, very good. Now this is done on like large plot of lands with more labor. Why? Because we need to increase the production or yield, we can say. Why? Because population pressure is increased. Third one is beta, commercial type of farming, done for profit. Done for what? Profit. Paisa. Like tea plantation, coffee plantation, etc. So these are the types of farming. Then we have one more thing, that is cropping pattern. Very important. 3 cropping pattern. We get confused. Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. Okay. Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. 3 cropping patterns. When we talk about Rabi, so see, in the cropping pattern what you have to study. When is the crop sown? Okay, when is the crop harvested and which type of crop is there? Question can come for MCQs too as well as descriptions too. So when I talk about when the Rabi crop is grown, bacha, when the rabi crop is grown. So it is sown in the time of November or December, like winter months. It is harvested when there is bright sunshine. The best example will be what? Wheat, maize. Kharif, by Kharif is sown in during the time of rainy season, that means June, July. Right? Harvested in October, November. Paddy is an example. Zaid bhai, between this period you have to grow something, na? Like June, and here harvest, bright sunshine means March and April. So between this April to July, what is grown? Zaid crops, cucumber, we eat during this time, na? So here are the cropping patterns of India. India being a monsoonal type of climate country, have 3 cropping patterns in India. Get it, bacha? What you need to study in this chapter are these particular crops, like major crops of India. Rice, first major crop of India, require rainfall around 100 centimeter. Right, is a Kharif crop. Wheat by Rabi crop, bright sunshine during the time of ripening, right? Second most important crop. Then we will study about millets and maize. Millets, ragi, jowar, bajra, have high nutritious value, fibrous content, right? What is maize? Food and fodder crops. Write it. It will come in MCQ, right? It is a type of food and fodder crop. Next is beverage. Then you have to study about food crops other than grains. Sugarcane, UP, Bihar are the region where it is majorly grown. Oil seeds we have. Then crops, tea and coffee, right? Horticulture crops, non-food crops, cotton, jute, hemp and natural silk. Bacha, whenever you study this, also always remember the climatic composition. Make a chart out of it and study the climatic composition. Okay, get it, beta? This is important. Now we will talk about technology and institutional reforms. What? Technology. By most repeated question, most repeated and the favorite question of CBSE will be asked again and again. Last year it also came. So what are the technological and institutional reforms introduced to improve agriculture in India? What are they? So basically, see, first point. I'll tell you the first, we will make the list of it. So first what they have done the land reforms just after the, what we can say, independence, right? They abolished the zamindari system. They looked upon the land holdings that were collectivized by some people, right? After that we have seen white and green revolution. White and green revolution. Yes, it brought a revolution in the agriculture sector, transformation done. Then we have seen the formation of, like this is institutional reform, Grameen banks and cooperatives, right? Banks and operators, like giving loans, cheaper loans to the farmers. Then we can see KCC. What is KCC? Kisan Credit Card. PAIS, Personal Accident Insurance Scheme. MSP, Minimum Support Price, studied in class 9th also. Okay, so this is the most important topic from the chapter agriculture. Now moving to mineral and energy resource. Mineral and, arey bhai, I just got trapped in the wire of the mic. Okay, so mineral and energy resource. Beta, minerals. What are the minerals? Minerals are the what? Homogeneous substance with a definable chemical composition or definite chemical composition. These are minerals. Like minerals are the indispensable part of human life. From a tiny pin to the car we are traveling in, to the house we are living in, all are the results of minerals. Okay, they are natural substance. We get it from the earth's surface. So there are certain modes of occurrence, how it is formed. There are certain what beta? Modes of occurrence of minerals. In this, the first mode of occurrence is, pay attention, 5-mark question hai. Okay, so the first mode of occurrence will be igneous and metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks, right? Second is from the sedimentary rocks. Okay, from the sedimentary rocks. If I talk about igneous rock, what happens, right? Because of lava when comes out, cools down, form rocks in which minerals are found. Metamorphic, when these rocks are like open to heat and pressure, changes take place, rocks are found, mineral comes out. Tin, lead, copper, right? Sedimentary rocks, by sediments are deposited. Okay, then sedimentary rocks are found. Okay, decomposition of rocks, decomposition, whenever like decomposition, the part of rock which got decomposed, like bauxite ore is formed out of it. Then one more thing, that is alluvial deposits, Okay, how alluvial soil is formed by the deposits, na? Alluvial deposits, silver, gold, platinum found here. Type of also we have to give the example, na beta? And the last one is ocean beds, calcium, magnesium. These are found here. So this is the mode of occurrence of minerals. Mode of occurrence for minerals. Acha, classification of minerals is left here. So it is the easy topic. I would suggest you should do this. Okay. Ferrous mineral, we have to study about iron ore, magnetite and hematite. Two types of iron. Iron is basically the backbone of industries or Indian economy, right? Iron ore is there, and if I talk about iron ore, two types of there. One is magnetite. Okay, magnetite. Then there is hematite. Okay, here there is like 80% of iron, and this is the best type of ore. Here there is 60 to 70% of iron. However, the most used one is, because this is the most available one, right? There are certain areas, oh my god. Then another, we have manganese. We have non-ferrous minerals. See, these were the ferrous minerals, right? And these are the non-ferrous mineral. Copper, not that much available in India, but only available in, okay, only available in Balaghat mines in Madhya Pradesh, as well as Khetri mines in Rajasthan. Khetri mines in Rajasthan. Okay, other than that, we have Singhbhum mines in Jharkhand. Here these type of what? Copper ore are found. Then we have bauxite. Aluminium smelting is done with the help of bauxite because it is the ore of aluminium. And if I talk about aluminium, why it is important? Because it is the best alternative to iron, light, malleable, ductile. Getting my point? Okay, widely used. Mica and limestone, you have to study this. Hazards of mining, very, very important beta. What is hazards of mining? Question will comes that by it, like if we see mining activity is really risky for human life. Forest fire, chances of for mining, like fires in the mine, right? Roof falls. Okay, pulmonary diseases. This happens when a person is working in a mine. Last and the important topic is energy resource. By right now, make a chart that tells us about the difference between conventional and non-conventional source of energy. I'll tell you what are the conventional source of energy that are used from what? Past. Old traditions, coal, petroleum, natural gas, hydroelectricity. What are non-conventional sources of energy? Renewable one, solar energy, wind energy, thermal energy, biogas energy. Get it? I am giving you a task. Create one answer with 5 differences right now. Create one answer with how many difference? Much. Do it right away. Okay, very good. We are ending the chapter, moving to manufacturing industries. Next chapter, that is manufacturing industries. Last chapter, why? Because lifelines of Indian economy, lifelines wala chapter. In the lifelines chapter, only map work is going to come. Okay, beta? Fine. Manufacturing industries. By industries, again, indispensable part of human life, because now we can't live without the products of industries. It's important, right? If I talk about industrial location, whenever you will locate your industry, you will see what? Is there availability of raw materials? Are there enough source of energy? Do you have good capital for that place? Will you have a good market in this place? Okay, so that will you have like source to export your products, right? So these are the basic things which we look before locating our industry. Getting my point, or everything is just going skyrocket? Because it is a long lecture, we have to complete what? The complete SST. Okay, so we will classify industries now. So first of all, let's classify industry on the basis of raw material. Bhai, what are the material we are using? So on the basis of raw material, then let us first write the classification. Ownership, okay. Then we will classify on the basis of its size, on the basis of its weight, and last but not the least, on the basis of its main role. 5-mark question can come from this topic. So on the basis of raw material, we have agro-based industries and mineral-based industries. See, we will study everything here in detail. On the basis of ownership, bhai, what are the criteria for that? Ownership, public sector industries, okay, like owned by the government. We have private sector industries owned by a single individual. Joint industry owned by both of them. Joint industry. Cooperative industry owned by too many people at a time. Amul. Example of joint can be OIL, Oil India Limited. Okay. Public can be BHEL, Bharat Heavy Electronics Limited. Private can be Reliance, Infosys. Okay. Now, size, according to size, they can be large industry, small industry, that is basically on the basis of capital, paisa. Weight, heavy industry and light industry. Good. Main role. This is important, student get confused in this. Bacha, what are the types of industries on the basis of main role? First one is, it can be a basic or key industry. And now what does it mean? Basic or key industry matla, the product which is made here is used by other industries as a raw material. Get it? Okay. Next is consumer industry, the product which are directly used by the consumers, like toothpaste, Dabur, honey, directly used, na? Very good. So this is classification of industries which you have to do very nicely. Next is details about agro-based industries, that is cotton. Okay, like if I talk about cotton, yes, India is a big producer of cotton in the world, even it was famous for it. UP, Bihar is good, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat is making so much of cotton in the black soil. Jute, grown in the region of West Bengal. Bangladesh is the largest exporter. We are the largest producer because we consume it also. Sugar industries, a question will come, why? There is a like shift seen that the sugar industries are moving towards the southern states. Simple, very decent answer to this, because the sugarcane find there is of high sucrose content, and the sugarcane industry is a type of bulky industry, and the movement of them cannot be possible. Okay, chalo. Mineral based industry, iron and steel industry, why it is a key industry? Write it. Aluminium smelting, important. Why aluminium trend is going on? Like, write the points why aluminium is important as a mineral. So good alternative to iron, no, not get corroded. Okay, light hai, heat and malleability hai, ductile it is. Okay, chemical industry, its largest producer as well as consumer of its own. MCQ for sure. Automobile, okay, no. Now, which is the important topic from this chapter is this industrial production. Okay, pollution. So, since childhood, you guys are studying types of pollution. Air pollution, okay. Water pollution, fine. Noise pollution, we used to every year write the same essay in our exam. Thermal pollution and many more, beta. But in this topic, what you need to focus is on the conservation methods. Okay, here so many points are given, but the question comes from this sector particularly. I'll tell you, wait, I want to tell you exactly where it is. So, control of environmental degradations, page number 76, suggestions. Now, these industrial pollution is affecting our water resource, because directly the effluents are discharged into it. What can be the steps taken? First, reduce this thing as well as recycling and reusing of the water. First point. The second thing is we can do rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting. And the third point is we can treat the water. Now, what do you mean by treatment of the water? But our treatment involves three processes. Okay, one is primary, the second is secondary, and the last is tertiary process. Do you know what is this? Very, very important. Like when in a water something like solid mixes, you can take out that solid part easily now when it is visible. You can strain the water whenever there is dust or something. So primary treatment basically deals with the what one bacha? The processing that includes what? Mechanical means, by machines where there can be easy cleaning of the effluents. Secondary involves what? Biological process. Tertiary involves chemical process, like primary, secondary, tertiary. Okay, first is mechanical, second is biological, third is all of them particularly, but more important is the chemical process. Get it? This is the important topic from particularly this chapter. Done with civics, moving towards economics. 4 chapters. Last chapter is very small. Development is very easy. 2 important chapters, sectors of Indian economy and money and credit. Sectors of Indian economy and money and credit. Chalo, let's start with the development chapter. Development. Again, development can only be possible when resources are there. What happened? When resources are there. Okay. So, when I talk about development, different people have different developmental goals. Like my developmental goal will be, like you watch my videos, I get more views, etc. Right? Your developmental goal is right now getting good marks in SST exam. Your parents' development goal is working, like having good work-life balance. Every person has a different developmental goal, and here it is very, very nicely explained by an example of a girl child and a boy child. Example of a rich person going to industrial owner want to construct a dam for water for like need for the industry. However, people getting displaced by her, it is not having a positive impact of it. So different people have different developmental goals. Development can be constructive for one but destructive for another person. When I talk about development, how you get developed, you will say that, ma'am, when we earn money. But do you think only money is a factor? No, beta. Money is not only the factor. There are certain other goals also. Dignity, freedom, equality. When you work in a space, you need all of them. If these things are not provided, only money is provided, you won't enjoy working there. Security of job, etc. should be provided there. Get it? Very good. So, here we can't talk about only development of a person. We are studying economics, national development. How can national development be calculated? By the income of the people. And here comes a topic that is total income. We thought that we can calculate the income of all the people out there. Okay, calculate the income of all the people out there and compare the countries. That country A is more developed, country B is less developed. Like we say, USA is a developed nation, India is a developing nation, Pakistan is an underdeveloped nation. How do we categorize it? So first of all, we chose one thing. Okay, we'll do this by total income. We calculated the income of all the population of the nation. Now what happened? India has so much population, our income will be high. Japan has less population. Doesn't mean we are more developed than Japan, na? So this is a failure. So we thought, acha, let's take the average. Let's take the average, that is average income. What is average income? Total income upon total population. But there is a problem with this too. Why? What happens? It is good for comparison in terms of percentage and all, but it hides disparities. What happens, beta? It hides disparities because in a country there can be a possibility that one person is very rich and the rest others are poor. Because of that person, this average will be high and we will consider that place as developed, but it is a failed attempt. Hence, we analyze that only income is not the criteria to measure the development of a place. There are certain other criteria like education and health. Okay, so here there are two topics. World Development Report, the report that was published by World Bank. What was the criteria? Average income was the criteria, which tells us that, okay, they take a income that above this is a developed rich country, below that is a poor country. Then comes Human Development Report published by UNDP, United Nations Development Program. An index is created, listing of the countries, giving them a rank number 1, rank number 2, rank number 3. Acha, what is the rank of India according to UNDP? Tell me right now. Do you remember? So, however, the criteria used by UNDP is not only average income but also education and health. Got it? Very good. Two important topics that you will do from this chapter. I am moving to the second one, that is sectors of Indian economy. What, beta? The next chapter is sectors of Indian economy. So how many sectors are there? Do you guys remember? We are studying this since childhood. Like I was teaching this to a 6th standard student and she was just telling it very fast, very nicely understandable. Easy, eh? So if I talk about sectors, there are 3 sectors. Primary, in which raw material comes from natural resource. Secondary and tertiary. Okay, this video will be helpful to the students who were waiting that we were studied in the last moment. I think that this is going to be helpful for them. So beta, there are 3 sectors. Remember their examples and all that thing. What are the comparison between 3? So primary sector, we will study primary, secondary, tertiary. All the 3 sectors. We will see 2 phases, 1970s and the other is 2000, on the basis of 2 things. And that 2 thing is particularly, the first will be, pay attention, the first will be employment and the next is GDP. Okay, employment GDP, employment GDP. Get it? There are so many people employed in 1970s, around 70-80% people employed here, and the GDP was not that good, like 10 to 15 or 20 to 30%. But in 2000, the people are like 60 to 50%, and the GDP is some around 30%. So what do you think? Who is the largest employer? Primary sector. It remains same, 10 to 15%, 10 to 15%. But however, there is a huge shift in tertiary sector. Initially, there was only 30 to 40% people, which accounted for around 20% of GDP. Right now, the shift is that the people are same, 30 to 40%, but the GDP of this area is increased. Right, I'm giving a rough percentage to you. I just want to tell you that the tertiary sector is growing, has a huge weightage in the GDP of the nation. How? Why? Question will come. Why there is rising importance of tertiary sector? 5 points answer is going to come in your exam. Question, sorry. Answer you will write. So what are the 5 points? Because this tertiary sector involves basic services. Okay, it involves basic services like by teaching. You need a teacher. You need to go to the hospital. You need transport services. Right? These are basic services. Now you cannot deny them. Okay. Then if I talk about this, if there will be growth in agriculture, bhaiya, if there will be growth in agriculture, there will be growth in industry. There will eventually growth in tertiary sector. Who is going to transport these products? Tertiary sector. Okay. There is rising income. When income will rise, you will go to tourist space, place, not space. Eating out, dining out, you will change, na? Right? Now there will be coming of IT sector, information communication technology, ICT, which revolutionized the world. So these are the factors because of which there is rising importance of tertiary sector. Get it, beta? Then we have underemployment, a situation. People are willing to work, they have the potential to work, but they do not have work for every day. They are working less than their potential. That terminology is known as underemployment, also known as disguised unemployment. Okay, very good. Now a question that you need to do right now as a homework question. Okay, homework question: how to increase employment in rural as well as urban areas? Note down it in your copy, how to increase employment in rural and urban area. One of the question will come. Okay, very good, beta. So there was one scheme started by government in the year 2005 that is known as MG Narega. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, name changed. I'll tell you that. Okay, 2005. What does it guarantees? It guarantees 100 days of employment. It guarantees 100 days of employment in rural areas. In rural area. Guaranteed employment in the rural areas. And if not given, they will provide you compensation, or that is known as allowances. Okay, now it is known as VBG RAMG. What does it means? Viksit Bharat, pay attention, 2026. Name changed. Viksit Bharat guarantee what? Viksit Bharat, that guarantee, Viksit Bharat, that guarantee for Rozgar and Advika mission. Okay, so this is changed. One more thing is changed. Now it is 125 days, not guaranteed 100 days of employment. Okay, this is also changed, so pay attention to this. Most important and the famous topic of this chapter, write the difference between organized and unorganized sector. Homework, do it right now. You are doing throughout the year, I am pretty aware about this. Okay, chalo. Next is money and credit. Money, it's all about money everywhere it's all about money. So money and credit, beta. Initially, when the humans learned about exchanging the items, right, and all this happens with that introduction of discovery of fire, I think, right, discovery of fire, cooking of food, growing of crops, and the life spoiled. So when the humans learn about exchanging the items, there was no money. Okay, there was nothing as money existed. Hence what they did, acha, you want wheat, take my product which I produce, you give me wheat. Exchange of items, okay, referred as double coincidence of want, well, on the basis of double coincidence of want, referred as barter system. Barter system. You guys also do the pen barter system in school. I have seen students doing that, barter pens. So then later money came, right, because there was problem. Every time there cannot be double coincidence of want, hence money came into the market on the basis of medium. This is referred as a medium of exchange. Question: why is money called the medium of exchange, bacha? Because it saves us from the double coincidence of want. There will be no barter system, right? Easy process for the exchanging of items, a good medium. It is recognized, like it is made by the Reserve Bank of India, and Reserve Bank of India says that the exchange of product can only be done in money and no one can deny that. So this is how. What are the modern form of currencies, beta? What are the modern form of currencies? So the modern form of currency, first of all, is paper notes and coins. Paper notes and coins, the use of which have reduced because of the coming of UPI system. Yeah, I don't even remember when I saw the last note. Everything is going on UPI. I will get stuck definitely one day when my UPI will not work and I will have no money in the pocket. I am pretty sure about that. And what happens if the phone network is also not there? How, to whom I will call you? Yaar, pay kar do. No one. My God. I wish it should never happen. So paper notes and coin. Okay. The next one is deposit with the bank. By whenever you have excess money, go to the bank, deposit it with the bank. This is also a modern form of currency. Third and the important one, that is check. Acha, what is check? What is check? Paper instructing the bank to pay this amount of money to this person from my account. That's it. So this is check, right? Okay, here comes a word, bank. What is bank, beta? Bank is an institution who is working as an intermediate between borrower plus depositor. Between borrower and depositor. You have excess of money, you go and deposit it to the bank. You need the money, you go and take the paisa from the bank, right? So this is the functioning of the bank. Bank keeps a small portion of the deposit, so that there should be no risk. What happens when everyone comes to take back the deposited amount? The bank will be left with no, if everything is given to the others in loan practice. So RBI made this mandate that a percentage of the CRR, it is known as cash reserve ratio, that a percentage you have to keep it with you in that conditions. What happens? Someone becomes bankrupt. What happens if someone left and go to London? So in this conditions it is used. What are the terms of credit by? Like credit, when it comes money, now comes the money. Yeah, give me money for 2 days, I'll give you back. Loan, na? So credit facilities are there by the bank and by the people also. Terms of credit, when you go to the bank, ask for the loan. What will the bank ask? First of all, give me interest. Okay na? Give me interest. ठीक है भाई. Next is Do you have proper documentation? Okay, so they will ask for the proper documentation. Third, something to be kept as collateral. What is collateral? Land, property, anything which is an asset which can, if you do not repay the loan, they can get the profit out of there. And the next is repayments of loan. Repayments of loan. Okay? These are the terms of credit. Loans from cooperatives is an important topic. What is loans from cooperative? Beta, it is cooperative societies. Group of people is also basically what we can say credit body that gives credit. So here, like, there are particularly group of farmers, some around 1500 people to 2000 people. They made a group and did what? Right? Did what? They collected what? The assets of each other. Okay, collected it. Now, on the basis of that asset, they use it as a collateral, go to the bank, ask for money and divide it into whoever the needy people are. They will pay the interest rate to the cooperatives and cooperatives to the bank. Get it? So, it is it. There are two sources of credit, beta, formal, informal. When you take the loan from your relative, informal. Why? No regulatory body is there. Okay, interest can be high. Okay, formal, regulatory body is there. Okay, interest is low. Banks, cooperatives are the formal sources of credit. Most important topic, bhai, SHG, self-help group. Let's do this. So, what is a self-help group? Majorly a small group of 15 to 20 members, especially women's. In rural areas, women get like sit with each other, talk with each other. One women get the idea, why don't we pool our savings? Why don't we pool our savings? One said, acha, we will do one thing. Let's pool our saving at least 50 to 100 rupees in a day. This is how we will collect the money. And if someone needs the money to open the business, etc., we will give them. Take it, give the interest. And this is how a group can even earn. So they started pooling their savings. Okay, it resulted in a very good experiment. You can write 5 points for this. Last topic, that is globalization and the Indian economy. By end of the all 19 chapters. Oh, very good. What is globalization? Rapid integration, interconnection among different countries of the world. What are the factors affecting globalization? The second question. What are the factors? Tell me right now in the comment section. Right now I'm waiting for it. Frame this answer because this is only what is coming from this section. Okay. So congratulations guys. 100% of SST syllabus is done by this video. Thank you for being the part of it. One more important thing that I want to tell you that you can download the entire PDF. Yes, my dear students, I know that this PDF is quite important for you to do fast revision and to at least check what are the important topics from the chapters, 19 chapters of SST. So, my dear students, pay attention what I have done for you. You have to understand that fact. What I have done for you is, see, here this is the list of all 19 chapters of SST which we studied up till now. Like we started from nationalism in Europe, then we went with nationalism in India, then making of the global world, and all the chapters that are going to come in your exam. A single PDF is made where I have written all the important points, all the important topics that you need to study from the above respective chapters. Now what you need to do is, you need to just go to the link in the description of this respective video, of the same video. Go to the link in the description. You can download this entire PDF from there. And I know this is going to help you out. So this is one thing for you, my dear students. Before going back after this long video, I want to share you the result of Diksha Vedantu students. So recently, JEE Mains result was announced and these are the faces of our toppers. And you can see that you can also be the face on the same channel and even on anywhere by just performing good in your 11th and 10th. Before that, you need to focus on what stream to choose, what not to choose. Okay, so these are our JEE Mains 2026 session toppers. You can have a look at them. So basically, Diksha campuses are all over South India, particularly in Bangalore. And here is a great result out there. 17 students at least have 99 percentile and above. That's a great result. 35 have 98 percentile and above, and many more on the list. You can have a look. My dear students, all the best for your SST exam. It's going to be crazy because I know that you will perform very good after learning this much from me. Okay, so not giving the credit to just me, giving the credit to you guys. You are doing really good in SST particularly because I can just analyze that. All the best again. Drink enough water, be hydrated. Summer is extremely affecting our health. We can't risk health just before the examination. Don't eat junk food, stay healthy, and rock in your SST exam. Bye bye. We'll meet you in the next video.